For more than 239 years, they have served through a dozen major wars and countless conflicts. They have given out bread in peace and taken bullets in war. They have bled at Lexington and on the shores of Normandy, sweated in the jungles of Vietnam and in the deserts of Iraq, and cried without shame at many goodbyes and too many funerals. They have worn different uniforms and borne many nicknames: Johnny Reb, Bill the Yank, Doughboy, Grunt. And at one dark point, they even fought one another on battlefields such as Antietam and Gettysburg. Their list of sacrifices and accomplishments is unparalleled in any nation's history, and so it is easy to view veterans as another representation of America's storied history. But veterans are more than symbols. They are people with beating hearts and piercing minds. And as people, they are not only a window to our past, but also living inspiration for our future. Looking back, we are reminded that the American military is older than the nation itself, beginning when farmers and riders joined with blacksmiths, merchants, and those of many other crafts and trades, putting down their pitchforks and pens and taking up shotguns and swords for the Continental Army to free themselves from the oppression of the British Crown. It was then, on Bunker Hill and in the Delaware Valley, that Americans began a new kind of battle, not a struggle for power or property, but a fight for freedom. The dawn of our nation was inescapably intertwined with the high ideal of liberty and justice for all. It is that ideal that has sustained us, being our collective compass in peace, and our shared battle cry in war. It is an ideal that has not only guided Americans for more than 2 centuries, but also has burned as a beacon of hope for the oppressed around the world. Like all noble truths, however, liberty and justice for all becomes nothing more than pretty words unless there are people who are willing to sacrifice to keep that ideal a reality. Those people are not just the heroes we read about in history books, those who took up their muskets and turned back the redcoats. They are the heroes who are still with us. They are those of the greatest generation who liberated the death camp in Auschwitz. They are those who contained communism through an unpopular war, never receiving their deserved hero's welcome. They are those who fought and continue to fight the war on terror with undefined boundaries and unclear resolutions. They are the men and women from all walks of life who answered when their country called. They are career soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. They are also the school teachers, salespeople, engineers, and others who have left their homes, friends, and families. They are every person who has sacrificed to keep alive the fight for freedom. Everyone who has heard the echoes of that shot heard round the world. Looking forward, I am filled with confidence that our country will continue to be informed by our veterans of today and inspired by our veterans of tomorrow. Growing up in the shadow of Fort Bragg, I see every day the children who are without a mother or a father because they are a part of a military family. But I also see an unequaled sense of pride in those who know that they are a part of something larger than themselves. I see that the never-ending fight for freedom is represented not just by flags and eagles, but by flesh and blood. By these ordinary Americans who do extraordinary work. People who, like the generations before, were not born great, but who do great deeds. People who sacrifice every day so that the ideal of liberty and justice for all shall not perish from this earth.